What's up, guys? It is January 1st, 2024. Happy New Year's to everybody. Hope everybody had a good and safe night. Hope you're feeling okay this morning. Uh, so, if you partook last night, um, me myself, yeah, it didn't happen last night. It's very rare that I get to see the ball drop, and yeah, last night I was watching. Well, I don't forgot what I was watching. Maybe the Packers and Vikings game, and dozed off and managed to wake up about uh, about 11:55. And I said, well, I might as well stay up and watch the ball drop now. So I did that and went right back to sleep. You know, when you get old, that happens. And this tell y'all, I know y'all heard it. This freaking crud I've had that's got the crud is gone, but it's like congestion and crap and this cough. I can't get rid of it, and it's about to drive me freaking crazy. But and you can tell it in my voice. But all in all, everything's good. I surely hope 2024 is a better year than 2023 was. But we're gonna keep positive and hope that's the case because 23 sucked in more ways than one. And whatever. Um, I haven't really. You guys know if you've followed the show, any of the three shows, you know what I like. I'm a big Kiss fan. So Christmas this year, I did manage to get a couple of Kiss things, and I hadn't been able to show you guys what I got. The first thing my brother got me was a shirt, the Kiss Destroyer '76. You know, kind of the tie dye, which I'm sure I'll be wearing up here. You'll see it on the show a few times. Um, and then I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. Kiss at 50, Martin Popoff, who does a great job with this stuff. And I mean, this is just filled with stuff all the way from the start to the finish. I mean, of course, it was out before the end of the road, and all that, but it was out. It came. He was doing it while this endless end of the road concert tour was going on. But if you're a Kiss fan, I highly suggest that book. Hopefully, maybe we'll reach out to Mr. Popoff and get him on the show. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm telling you, this stuff is rank. Um, yeah, I need a cough button. As far as NFL yesterday, best team in football right now, Baltimore Ravens. And people are gonna like, did he really say that? I did. Right now, the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in football. But you know what? We've seen this story before. You see this story about Baltimore's dominating. They're going into the playoffs, number one seed in the AFC, home field advantage. Everything's got to come through Baltimore. Haven't we played this game before? Haven't we read this book before, seen this movie? And it didn't end up so good. They go out in the divisional round. I think Buffalo beat them, or was it Tennessee? I think it was Tennessee. Remember the Titans. Um, they're going to have to prove to me that they can win in the playoffs. They sure did demolish the Dolphins yesterday. That was not even funny. But like I said, I've seen this before. Win in the playoffs. Show me you can win in the playoffs. I had some interesting conversations with some Ravens fans yesterday who wanted to, when I said that same comment, wanted to bring up, say I was bringing up history, like our six Super Bowls that were so long ago, and I was like, I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about what I think about the Ravens right now. And I think they're doing their same old song and dance. I mean, prove to me otherwise. That's what you're gonna have to do. When they win in the playoffs, I'll maybe I'll become a believer. But they seem to, I don't know. Lamar is 1-3 in the playoffs over all these years, and set out last year with a injury. Okay, contract, but no doubt best team in football right now. But I'm not a believer yet. I'm not a believer till they show me they can do that in the playoffs. Of course, my Steelers got a win yesterday. Mason Rudolph. What does the future hold for Mason Rudolph and the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh? I mean, Trubisky's obviously gone. He will not be back on the roster next year, no doubt. If they sign him, then I give up. I really do, because that's a waste of money there, waste of cap space. Mason Rudolph has definitely showed he needs to. He deserves to have a chance on the roster. He should be number 1 or number 2 next year, and I mean that's all there is to it. Now I'm going to get to the part that really irritates me. This whole, and I've been a Steelers fan for majority of my life. I mean, 45 years going, and the fact that the Steelers and the NFL celebrate that Mike Tomlin has not had a losing season. He's not going to have a losing season this year. So that what is it, 17 years now. You know, when you keep getting, you know, barely above 500 records, I mean, why are we celebrating? I mean, I know that's, you know, as an NFL coach, there's not many that has that distinction. I mean, I don't know many of them. A lot of them haven't been around 17 years, but this is not the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania. This is not, you know, a winning streak over 2 seasons. This is not any of that. Yet it's being celebrated and made out like a big deal. When you don't get to the playoffs and you can't win in the playoffs, it's not a big deal anymore to me. I mean, I'm over it. You say all you want to about it. I'm over it. Big freaking deal. You went 5. You managed to keep yourself above 500. I don't get it. I don't get what now. You know, win a Super Bowl again. We need a win a playoff game. I mean, there's been some years where, you know, of course, when Roethlisberger got hurt, and he made, you know, he got over 500 with a third string quarterback, a duck call champion, playing quarterback, and you managed to get over 500. That was impressive. But you're supposed to get over 500. This is something you're supposed to do. And you know, is it cool? Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, good coach, decent coach, but you're barely going above 500. It's not like you're winning 12 games. You're barely above 500. You didn't get the playoffs last year. You haven't won a playoff game in a while. I don't even know how long, but it's been a while. Other news. What about the Panthers owner apparently throwing a drink on some Jacksonville fans in the stands? You know, of course, Carolina struggling. They lose 26-0 yesterday. And a video shows Panthers owner David Tepper appearing to throw a drink into the crowd at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. And the NFL spokesperson says, "We are aware of this video and have no further comment at this time." I mean, you know you're not going to have a good year in Carolina. Bryce Young is a rookie quarterback. You've traded away. You don't have a good offensive line. Your biggest weapon was DJ Moore. You traded him to get you traded him to get the #1 draft pick, which the Bears locked up yesterday again after the Panthers lost. The Bears had the Panthers' first round pick, so they get #1 pick next year. Bears routed the Falcons yesterday. What was the score of that? It was like 47-17 or 37-17, excuse me. So now they'll be talking about Justin Fields to be up for MVP next year again until he does some stupid. Okay, Odell Beckham saying the Ravens are the best NFL team he's ever been on. What else is he going to say? The Chiefs win their 8th straight AFC West division title. Very unimpressive right now, which, last year they went into the playoffs not looking strong as I thought, and they surprised me. So Buffalo gets the win over the Patriots narrowly. And the 49ers win the NFC West, but Christian McCaffrey, possible calf strain. So that's big because when McCaffrey's not healthy, it's not good. What about the Philadelphia Eagles? You remember, you football fans out there, you remember Sirianni after the Chiefs game walking to the and look, when I said Sirianni, Siri on my phone came up and just anyway, Sirianni walking to the locker rooms and yelling at the Chiefs fans in the tunnel. Since then, the Eagles have gone 2-4. They lose to the Cardinals yesterday. The Cardinals take the lead with 32 seconds left and win. What was it, 35-31? So they've had 2 chances to really pull ahead of the Cowboys and have lost to mediocre teams. And yes, Arizona is a mediocre team, which beat the Cowboys early in the year too. But if you haven't followed me on TikTok, if you're on TikTok, check us out on TikTok. We'll put the links and everything up there where you guys can find it. But watching some TikTok, and there was an Eagles fan talking about the play calling on that last drive where the Eagles had the ball before the Cardinals took the lead. Predictable. I mean, you ran Jalen Hurts twice around the right side, and then you decided to try to throw the ball on 3rd and long, and it was not good play calling. But this is not the time to be playing your worst ball. You want to be playing good ball. I mean, like Baltimore, and I give credit when credit's due. Baltimore is playing their best ball right now. But the Eagles need to get their stuff straight. Let's see. I want to see schedule for next week. And that's not going to show it to me. But what about the Packers last night routing the Vikings? Excuse me. And that could they're up for the playoffs. So schedule for next week: Saturday game, 4:30, Steelers and Ravens. Everybody's wondering, the Ravens have nothing to prove. Do they play the starters? They're playing the Steelers, guys. I think they play the starters. Steelers have to win to keep their hopes alive for the playoffs, which, we'll see. Then you got a 8:15 game, the Texans and the Colts. Then the Sunday games, Falcons and Saints, Jaguars and Titans, Vikings and Lions. Let's talk about the Lions situation again. So apparently, what happened? See, what had happened was this is what I say it like that. So number 68 for the Lions reported eligible, and number 70 ran over there. You know, and the reason they did that was because and 70 I think had been reporting as eligible throughout the game. But the reason they did that was to not they didn't want the Cowboys to know which one was eligible. Which you know they have to call it out. But the referee, you see on the video, the referee nod his head at 68. And even before the game, and I know this for a fact, being a high school coach, the referees, even in high school, always ask us, do you have any trick plays? And Dan Campbell said before the game, he told the referee crew what he would do, that 68 was going to eventually report as eligible. And it worked. That referee dropped the ball. And now the NFL saying, well, they won't be able to, that crew won't be able to referee the playoffs. Big freaking deal. Big freaking deal. You think these guys are worried about that money? They've got kosher jobs that they have all during the week. Punish these guys. Find these guys. If they quit, oh well, so be it. Let them quit. I'm sure there's somebody else right behind them waiting to get that referee crew spot. And I'm not throwing shade at Dallas. Dallas, nobody out there, I mean, unless you're one of these diehard Lions fans or Cowboy haters that say, well, the Cowboys paid them off. I don't believe that in a heartbeat. Cowboys did not pay any referee off. I think that referee just screwed up. He made the wrong call, and and boy, has he been getting hammered. There's memes everywhere. His social media, I think he's got a foundation that they've been just blasting on social media right now. But anyway, it is what it is. I did like what Aiden Hutchinson said, the defensive end for the Lions. He said, screw it. I'd rather beat them in the playoffs. So that could possibly happen. They went right down to Dallas, and you Dallas Cowboys fans know they should have beat y'all. I mean, and that's confidence in the Lions, and they've got that confidence that they can come down to Dallas and beat Dallas. So we'll see. Let's see, where were we at? Vikings and Lions. Jets and Patriots. Ooh, that's a stinker of a game there. Browns and Bengals, which the Browns are playoff bound. Joe Flacco. What about Joe Flacco? Give the guy some credit. A guy has come out of nowhere, out of retirement, and or semi-retirement, I guess, and has lit them up, led the Browns to the playoffs. Browns are the first team with 4 different starting quarterbacks to go to the playoffs. And second time in 4 years, Stefanski's led them to the playoffs. We'll see. That Browns defense, better watch out. Guess what? How ironic would it be if somehow the Browns and the Ravens meet up in the playoffs and the Browns end up taking the Ravens out? I mean, you talk about revenge. Revenge is sweet. That would be sweet for the freaking Browns. Just looking. What else we got up here? Where's my spot? There it is. Bears and Packers. I guess the Packers would have to win that to get to the playoffs. Seahawks and Cardinals. Eagles and Giants. Eagles to have, that's a big game for them. They don't want to lose this game. 49ers and Rams. I mean, both teams are in the playoffs. 49ers have clinched home field. And I'm sure McCaffrey, if there's any injury, McCaffrey will not be playing. Chiefs and Chargers, nothing there. Broncos and Raiders, Russell Wilson still sitting the bench. Cowboys and Commanders, I mean, I don't know. That's always a tough game, and it's at Washington. I don't see what Dallas losing that, but anyway, especially with the division on the line. Bills and Dolphins, that's going to be a 8:20 game. That's the last game of the regular season, and a lot of implications there. Buffalo could move up to the second seed, believe it or not, or they could end up out of it. So the Dolphins need to recover from last week, from that whooping from yesterday, that whooping they got. But you got the bowl games tonight, the big boys tonight. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Where's my schedule at? So at 12 o'clock, you've got Wisconsin and LSU. Then Liberty versus Oregon at 1 o'clock. I'd like to see that game. That would be interesting. Iowa and Tennessee. Excuse me. Iowa and Tennessee, that's a 1 o'clock game too. Alabama and Michigan at 5. And then Texas and Washington at 8:45. I'm going with Alabama here against Michigan because, Michigan, and they can say what they want to. When the announcement was made and they were all together hearing the announcement that Alabama was the fourth team they were going to play, they all just went, that's in your head, and that's giving Alabama some freaking confidence like they really needed. Texas and Washington, that's going to be a good one. Who do I go with? I'm going to, just for my brother and for my co-host Warden, I'm going to go with Texas. I'm going to go with Texas on that one. So, it looks like we'll have Texas and Alabama, the rematch that Texas won earlier in the year. I don't know. You guys heard me earlier in the week talking about the whole Florida State deal and the whole opting out deal. Well, Kirby Smart, head coach for Georgia, he made some comments about that game. Georgia beats Florida State 63-3. And Florida State, I said 24 the other day. They didn't have 24 scholarship players. It was 29. His quote was, "People need to see what happened tonight, and they need to fix this." And he's talking about the opt-outs and the transfer portal entries on teams playing in non-playoff bowl games. It needs to be fixed. It's very unfortunate that they have a good football team and a good football program there in the position they're in. Largest margin of victory in bowl history. We talked about that. Georgia had 673 total yards. Florida State, 209. Opt-outs, transfer moves, and injuries resulted in the Seminoles facing the Bulldogs without their top two quarterbacks, running backs, and receivers to go along with 8 defensive starters, among others. Coach Mike Norvell's outfit didn't have 29 scholarship players Saturday. You can say it's their fault and they have to solve their own problem. We had our guys and they didn't have their guys. College football has to decide what they want. I know things are changing, but there's still going to be bowl games outside of those. People need to decide what they want, and they want to get out of it because it's really unfortunate for those kids on that sideline that had to play in that game and didn't have their full arsenal, and it affected the game. Just like I've said all along, since all this stuff started, give it up. Give the bowl games up. Just expand the playoffs to 32 teams. Give it up. College football will never be the same again. And Greg Acree, I'm sorry, I'm just seeing your comments because it's on another thing. Um, I don't know about the 2 point conversion deal. Why he wanted to win the game, I guess, and why I hate the Ravens so much. I think, I really did. I hate on the Ravens. Really, did I not? Did I not state facts? I mean, Lamar is 1-3 in the playoffs. He's won one game in the playoffs and has been garbage mostly in the playoffs. So show me they can win the playoffs, they can play like that in the playoffs, and maybe I'll believe in them. Until then, I mean, that's just like the Steelers. Steelers haven't won a playoff game in a long time. Do you think I'm gonna believe in them if they get to the playoffs? Till they show me. You got to show me. You got to prove it to me. Um, that's my deal. But it is what it is. I am a Ravens hater. I will go along with that because I don't like the Ravens. I'm not supposed to like the Ravens because I'm a Steelers fan. But you know, I see things the way they are, and I see how they've done. And like the Ravens fans that were coming at me yesterday, you love talking about your six Super Bowl. I had yet to bring up a Super Bowl win, but then when I kept bringing up Lamar's 1-3 in the playoffs, Lamar, that's got to be Robert. I'm glad somebody's comments are showing up here. That's got to be Robert. Yeah, ECU baseball right around the corner. Hopefully, hopefully they'll have a good team this year. But when I started stating facts, the Ravens fans, one of them starts bringing up how many. You said you're grasping at straws. How many MVPs have you guys had? And the last time y'all won a Super Bowl, we've won one since then. So they diverted back to what their argument was against at the start. They were like, don't bring up your 6 Super Bowls. And which, I was like, okay, I'm not bringing it. I've yet to talk about the Super Bowl. And then come up and say that, we've won a Super Bowl since y'all have. And I'm like, okay. I mean, we weren't talking about history. We were talking about present time. And I mean, I am not under the assumption I'm a Steelers fan, but I haven't drunk the Kool-Aid and think, oh gosh, we can make the playoffs and we can make a Super Bowl run. It'd be nice, but am I looking for it? No. So that was interesting last night too. Interesting on New Year's Eve that I'm not going out on New Year's Eve, but I had a good time with these Ravens fans. Excuse me. But yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell. You guys, it's a new year. Hopefully things will be better in 2024. I sure hope so. I mean, it has really been a crap fest for 2023, and I'm glad to see it in my rearview mirror. But know that we're still kicking on the fly, and the final score and the triple threat main event, which was new this year. Which we did a few episodes of that before, and hopefully you guys are tuning in. If you haven't, be sure to check us out. You check us out wherever. If you want the triple threat main event, that is actually just a side cast for On the Fly. So if you subscribe to On the Fly on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast at, if you subscribe to that, you get all that. The final score, me and Matthew will be talking hopefully this week about a lot of this stuff again. And get your comments in, guys. We'll be live. Not sure. I'm going to shoot for Thursday night. Not sure, but we got eight people in here. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry if I don't see all of your comments. Like I said, I just saw Greg's. Oh, okay. Nick, Ravens fan. Ravens fan saying this now. His comment didn't show up yet. This is my good buddy and the head of Rage Wrestling, Nick Hawkins. Even with all the Ravens success, I'd trade you Harbaugh for Tomlin in a heartbeat. You know what, buddy? I wouldn't want Harbaugh. I'm sorry as I could be. I think he is. That's one thing that makes me doubt the Ravens is the fact that Harbaugh makes these bonehead decisions. I mean, there's been a couple of games against the Steelers. They could have won that game if he just kicked the field goal instead of going for it on fourth down and Lamar throws an interception. We go down the field, kick a field goal, and win the game. It's those kind of decisions, and that's not the only one. It's those kind of decisions that make me doubt. That's part of what makes me doubt the Ravens. It's fact. I mean, you got this Nick is a diehard Ravens fan. A diehard Ravens fan. And he's saying that about Harbaugh. Harbaugh had himself this. He does these analytics stuff, and yeah, that can work out at times. But let me tell you, if I'm down there at like the 15-yard line and I could seal the game with a field goal, I'm gonna kick the field goal. I'm not going for it. But that's Harbaugh for you. But I'm sorry, guys, if I'm not seeing your comments. That's what I'm trying to look at now. I'm finding them elsewhere. But Nick and Greg, I apologize, bud. Let's see. There's just one comment there. All right. So, with all that being said, I just want to say how thankful I am for you guys that tune in. How thankful I am for the people that have come on the podcast, that work on the podcast, for Warden, for Pinocchio, for Matthew, and all my guests, that we've had over the year. I know it seems like every year something happens in the summertime and makes it hard for me to recover. 1 year was COVID. 1 year was my dad passing, and last year was my dad passing. And I want to say something too about that. Thank you guys for all your support through that time. It really meant a lot, and it's still, going through the holidays and stuff. It's still tough. It's really tough. And then, I've heard a lot of people say, "Well, you're never going to get over it, but it will get better." And it hasn't got better. I miss him. I just want to see him and hear his voice, and it's just unbelievable. But I just want to thank you guys for that, for you guys supporting me on that, and all the prayers that you guys have done for me. And believe me, I need them. I need a lot of them. I want to close up and talk about some podcasts that I listen to. And I was going to do like a list of 10. Excuse me. Excuse me. I was going to do a list of 10, but I didn't want to leave anybody out that I really listen to. And these are some that maybe you guys can listen to, but the ones I'm listening to right now, and if you guys have any suggestions, you guys know what stuff I like. I listen to oh yeah, I forgot that. It's a little bit of everything. I listen to the Pat McAfee show, which I think is hilarious. He's great. Um, John Boy and Billy. If you're not from the South, you probably don't have a clue who I'm talking about with John Boy and Billy, but they're a morning show that has been going on for, gosh, 20, 30 years at least. Longer than that, probably 40 or 50 years. But yeah, they're hilarious. They do a lot of skits. They talk about, current stuff. But that Locked On Steelers. I need to find another Steelers podcast to listen to as well. But Locked On Steelers is what I listen to about every chance I get, every episode they put out. The Shout It Out Loudcast, Tom and Zeus, which I've been listening to for almost since the beginning of that podcast, and that's a KISS podcast, Right Between the Eyes. And these guys have come on the radar probably in the last year and a half. Rob Myers and company, they are some great guys. Hopefully, I'll be doing some crossover stuff with Right Between the Eyes. We just got to get together and figure out what we want to talk about. My buddy Steve Wright with 2 podcasts I listen to. I remember now the Queensryche podcast. If you're not a Queensryche fan, you wouldn't like it. But if you are, that's a good one to listen to. And then the Potter Than Hell podcast, which they talk about. It sounds like just a KISS podcast, but it's KISS, and it's a lot of music. It's a little bit of everything. Mostly rock music, but they talk about a little bit of all music. Not country, though. They don't talk about country like we do. Let's see. Grilling JR, Jim Ross. There's a lot of wrestling stuff up here. Podcast Rock City with Joe Lee, Joey Casada, and Sonny Pooney. KISS podcast I listen to. Something to Rest with Bruce Pritchard. What Happened When with Tony Schiavone, which was loved when that came out. Sometimes you'll see me wearing my What Happened When shirt. Top 5 with Joey Casada, which they do just like it sounds. A lot of top 5 lists. He's great. Joey Casada having a good time here lately. He just got through recording some drum tracks for Ace Frehley's upcoming solo album, so that should be interesting. I'm trying to get Joey on the show too. The Slam Fest podcast with Brad Rostovan, and you want to hear a guy that's got so much knowledge about bands. I mean, it's unbelievable. He was actually on the show. We did the top 10 Weird Al. I thought I'd never find somebody to do a top 10 Weird Al list with. That was an earlier episode this year. But Brad, I mean, find him on Facebook. He does a great job, and he knows more than most people know. Oh, you didn't know, which is the Road Dogg, Jesse James. That's wrestling. Orrin Anderson, Growing Up Rock with Stephen Michael and Sonny Pooney. So that's just, if you guys have any suggestions of something I might like, let me know. Let's see. I thought I saw something about Brad Allen, the referee that made the bad call. Thought they were going to, he said, finally punishment, but I think it's just they're not going to be able to go in the playoffs. Expected to be demoted and will not officiate the NFL playoffs. Very rare W for the. That's not enough. That's not enough. They'll be back next year and they'll make the same crappy calls. But yeah, if you got any suggestions of something I might like, hit me up. I'm always looking for new podcasts to listen to. I listen to a lot of them at work, and always looking to find new ones. All right, that's going to do it, guys. I took up about 40 minutes of your day. You said, how will I ever get that 40 minutes back? But thanks to Greg. Thanks to Nick. Thanks to Robert. Doug for liking. Doug and Miss Brenda. Thank y'all for liking. And Robert Robbins. Hope you guys have a great New Year's Day watching football. I probably may watch some college football. But be safe. Get out there on the road. Be safe, guys. There's a lot of people on the road. And we will see you next time on The Fly, the final score, triple threat main event.